Greetings, Batavia Mayor Jeff Schielke speaking to you on Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. And one of the things I want to do first of all is let everybody know we've kind of moved the date of when we do these now, starting this year. We're going to start each one at the beginning of the week, not at the end of the week, which is what we've been doing for about the last year and a half or so. And we think that by going to the front of the week, we can then make announcements about things that are going to happen in town and alert people, and maybe I'll talk about something that you're going to find yourself wanting to attend. So hopefully we'll be putting these out on Monday afternoon from now on, but of course yesterday the offices were closed for the Martin Luther King holiday. So one of the things I wanted to start to do here today was tell you that garbage pickup for this week will stay the same as it normally is. If you are picked up on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, it will stay that same day this week. That holiday does not move the garbage pickup for whatever reasons. And so as we go through the week, one of the complaints I get over the years is you didn't tell me that garbage was going to be delayed or whatever. So this will give us the opportunity, among other items, to put that out there. So I just wanted to share that with everybody, that's going to be there. Kind of on the dark side or the bad side of things, I wanted to again issue a little warning that the police department has shared with me about crimes that we are experiencing not only in Batavia but the Tri-Cities. And we seem to be kind of a targeted area by some of the bad guys because they look at the affluence and the idea that a lot of people have more cars than they can put in their garage. So there's a preponderance of cars that get left in driveways overnight. And we are aware that we have people coming not from Batavia necessarily, but from other parts of the region that come into Batavia and just drive around a subdivision in the middle of 2, 3, 4 in the morning. They're jumping out of the car and they're checking all the doors that are on a car parked in the driveway, and in hopes that they're going to find one open. And the dangerous part about that is many of the cars that are around today have a garage door opener in them. And we had a situation last year where they found a car that was open and it had a garage door opener in it, so they opened up the garage and went inside, and there was a car sitting inside what had been a locked garage, and it had the keys in the ignition, so they proceeded to start the car and away they went. And I think I've told this story before, but the last trace of it, we were able to trace the car using the tollway iPass system, and it went down to the south suburban area and then it disappeared, and we've never seen that car again. So be careful about leaving a car in the driveway that's not locked, and so we encourage you to do that. Then more recently, there's been some other problems where people have been having their doors on their houses checked. And people have been entering houses and seeing what they can find in the middle of the night. Unfortunately, many times there's people asleep in the house, and maybe there's an alarm, maybe there isn't, but they're wandering around in these houses in the middle of the night. So again, lock your doors, make sure your windows are secure, because we do have crime in the region here where that's happening with some regularity. And we have a very visible police department, and they do, in my opinion, a very good job, but they can't be every place in a town of 27,000 people. So we just have people floating around, and if we see people suspicious, obviously we make copies of what license plates we see moving around town, and then they can run checks and see, who was wandering around Batavia at 3:30 in the morning. But that's something we wanted you to know. And the other thing, as long as we're talking about safety, is that you may have heard or read in the newspaper, or if you watch the city council, the Batavia City Council has bought the former fire department ladder truck from the St. Charles Fire Department. It's a very nice truck. It's still in active, good service, and we are going to use that as our backup ladder. And our big ladder that we have with the bucket on it has to go in for some repairs for probably a couple months. So we'll be using this new one, which we just took possession of today, and we didn't pay a lot of money for it in the context of buying fire trucks, but Obviously, it'll be available to St. Charles if they need it back, and we trade, or not trade, but we respond to our equipment with Geneva and St. Charles automatically on a lot of different calls. So we may return it up there some night when they need another ladder truck or whatever the situation may be. But you'll see a second fire department ladder truck driving around town that will have the name Batavia on it. So got that out of the way as far as public safety. Another thing on a more positive note, Congressman Lauren Underwood, I think with the assistance of Congressman Bill Foster, has been successful in the halls of the U.S. Congress, getting us what I'm told is about a $3 million federal grant for the money to be used for Batavia to establish and buy a building to be used as our interfaith food pantry, our clothes closet for distribution of clothing to needy Batavia residents, and we'll give some area for the Batavia Christmas Toy Drive run by the Bailey family to store their toys and be ready to collect toys over the course of the year. So we're still working on that, but it is a high topic of conversation right now, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to give you a more detailed report about what's going on. A couple of other things that are happening in town right now that I think people are interested in. As you know, the Randall 16 movie theater, which has been there for a number of years, was sold a few months back and is now under total redoing. And it will no longer have 16 screens in it. It'll have some number, somewhat less. But one of the things they're doing is they are building a new screen on the back of the building, and if you drive by, you'll see all the construction taking place. And the owners tell me that when they get that screen up and hanging there, right for the moment, it'll be the largest movie screen in the state of Illinois. And so they're going to be able to offer some unique programming on that, and I don't want to say exactly what it's going to be, but I think it probably could be a number of sporting events that you'll be able to go out and really watch it on widescreen, and other things, that maybe some music concerts and stuff like that. And then there'll be maybe 4 theaters open in the complex, because they tell me that no longer is Hollywood making a bunch of movies for the movie industry to sell to theaters. They're going to sell them directly to the viewer on computer or on the internet or whatever they're using, and you'll pay the movie company that money directly to them, and it takes the theater totally out of it. So that's one of the things that's happening. But some of the movies will still only be sold in movie theaters, and the movie theater that's now going to reemerge in Batavia will be serving food and libations and drinks and whatever have you, and they're going to have a lot of different opportunities for some rooms for parties and memorial services and a whole bunch of other different stuff that they're going to offer up. So it's going to be a different operation out there, but it all seems to be very positive. The company that's bought this has got a number of theaters specifically in Michigan, and I've checked them out very strongly, and they have high ratings from every place they're at, that they're nice people and they're not fooling around with you, and they produce a real good product. So the movie theater is under construction. It'll open up sometime later this year. They're not sure of the date yet because there's still a lot of moving parts there. And another one that people are asking, the Culver's restaurant, which as you can see is right there in front of the Menard store on Randall Road near McKee Street, is well underway, and they hope to be open sometime this spring. They don't want to again commit to an exact date, at least for the moment, but they're hoping to be open relatively quick. And as many of you already know, the Chicken Salad Chick opened last week to a rousing crowd. They asked me to come out and cut the ribbon, and so I went out, and I will tell you that it was probably the largest ribbon cutting I've ever participated in, as far as the number of people wanting to get in and waiting and whatever, and they were offering some benefits to eating if you got there quick, and there were a lot of people there. And so I've talked to a number of Batavians now who tell me that they've been there and met friends from some other town who heard about it and wanted to get over and find out what it was all about. And you get in there and the ownership is very, very friendly and seems to remember people that have been in there before, and so it's a very popular place at the moment. So that one's going. And Mocha Coffee, which is down at the intersection of Main Street and Randall Road there behind the Shell gas station, they are moving along, and as many of you know, they have an existing coffee shop down in North Aurora on Route 31, about a block south of where the Butterfield Road intersection comes in. And so they're very busy down there, and they're very pleased with the layout of their Batavia store, and so they will be opening fairly quick. So we've got a lot of new stuff, and next week I'll try to cover some of the other new things that are happening. But I know people listen to this presentation because they want to know what's happening in Batavia. So again, please remember that we're going to do this now on Monday afternoon, and we're going to be making announcements about what's going to happen in the days following this program to hopefully give some people the opportunity to attend whatever event may be upcoming in the offing. So enjoy the early part of this year. And the winter is a kind of a different one this year with the temperature variances that we're experiencing. And please watch your health and try to keep yourself away from all the COVID and all the other diseases that seem to be floating around. And again, stay well, and thanks for being a supporter of Batavia, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.